Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving right into a fascinating and honestly totally urgent paradox. Our deep, innate love for nature contrasted directly against the human systems that are driving it straight toward extinction. We're going to connect the dots between how we treat individual animals and how we treat our entire planetary ecosystem.
So let's kick things off with a pretty surprising contrast between our affection for famous animal performers and the grim reality behind the scenes. Think about some of your absolute favorite movies. We all know and love Toto from The Wizard of Oz, right? It's a beloved cultural touchstone. But, have you ever actually stopped to wonder if our demand for these kinds of animal spectacles is doing more harm than good?
Well, researcher Kendall Conlisk really hit the nail on the head here. She notes that seeing an animal exhibit an unnatural behavior creates a spectacle, and we absolutely love a spectacle. But that spectacle comes at a massive cost. Research from World Animal Protection shows that 3 out of every 4 tourist animal attractions actually involve some underlying hidden abuse, just to get those animals to perform for our cameras.
Get a load of this number: 550,000. That's the estimated number of animals worldwide currently suffering just for our amusement. This isn't just a few isolated incidents. It's an entire global industry. And the crucial takeaway here is that this represents a micro-level ethical tipping point. If we're willing to exploit an individual animal for a quick thrill, how exactly does that mindset scale up to how we treat the natural world at large?
So let's zoom out from those individual entertainment animals to the massive and often totally invisible global crisis facing entire ecosystems. Think about the vast, complex terrestrial habitats that elephants and other major wildlife rely on. Because that exact same exploitative mindset has basically been supercharged by our global economy, and it's actively unraveling the web of life that actually sustains us.
Section 1. A system in peril.
The latest data from the 2024 WWF Living Planet report drops a literal gasp-inducing stat: -73%. Between 1970 and 2020, which is just 50 years, basically a single human lifetime, the average size of monitored wildlife populations worldwide plummeted by 73%. They tracked almost 35,000 population trends across amphibians, birds, fish, mammals, and reptiles. We've essentially shrunk the world's wildlife by nearly 3/4.
And it gets wilder when you break it down by ecosystem. Terrestrial populations dropped by 69% and marine populations by 56%. But freshwater populations, they suffered the most staggering blow, plummeting by an incredible 85%, mostly driven by things like habitat alteration and blocking essential migration routes for fish. To really grasp the gravity of these declines, we have to talk about tipping points. Simply put, a tipping point is when a natural system gets pushed over a cliff edge. It's not a slow, gradual decline anymore. It's a sudden, irreversible collapse. Once cumulative impacts, like habitat loss or climate change, push an ecosystem too far, the breakdown just feeds on itself. Let's look at a real-world example of how this plays out. Take this stoplight parrotfish. This incredible fish has a super specific, vital job. It acts as a guardian for the Mesoamerican coral reefs by literally swimming around and eating the algae that grows on the coral. But when overfishing takes the parrotfish out of the equation, the system breaks. The algae completely overgrows, blocks the sunlight, and starves the coral. And just like that, the reef is pushed past its tipping point, transforming from a vibrant underwater ecosystem into a dead, bleached wasteland. Removing just one key species can collapse the whole shebang. Now, let's scale that up to a globally significant tipping point. Deforestation and climate change are pushing the Amazon rainforest, home to magnificent species like jaguars, toward a terrifying point of no return. Science tells us that if just 20 to 25% of the Amazon is destroyed, it loses its ability to generate its own rainfall. It would transition from a lush rainforest into a dry savanna. And here's the scary part. We are already at an estimated 14 to 17%. Crossing that threshold would permanently alter weather patterns for the entire planet.
Section 2. The root causes. So, how in the world did we get here? According to data from the UNEP and WWF, the answer might actually surprise you. It's not just smokestacks and heavy industry. Our inherently illogical global food system is the absolute #1 driver of environmental degradation today.
The hidden environmental costs are just mind-blowing. Our agricultural systems eat up 40% of the Earth's habitable land and guzzle 70% of our global water supply. It causes over 1/4 of all greenhouse gas emissions. But the real kicker?
Despite taking all of that from the planet, we literally throw away 30 to 40% of the food we produce, all while over 730 million people go hungry every single night. It makes zero sense.
On top of that, our global financial systems are completely misaligned with our own survival. Every single year, nearly $7 trillion gets poured into extractive activities that actively fuel climate change and destroy habitats. Now compare that $7 trillion to the paltry $200 billion spent on nature-based solutions. We are literally bankrolling our own tipping points.
Section 3. 5 years to act.
The WWF is extremely clear on this. The actions we take in the next 5 years will determine the future. We have to correct our course before those self-perpetuating negative feedbacks kick in. To do that, we need a massive, rapid transition to greener energy. We have to triple our renewable capacity and double our energy efficiency by 2030. That means investments need to jump to $4.5 trillion annually to modernize our grids and ditch fossil fuels, without accidentally destroying other habitats in the process.
So all of this builds into a clear 3-step systemic transformation. Number 1, fix the food system. We need to scale nature-positive farming and drastically slash that massive food waste. Number 2, transition to renewable energy as fast as humanly possible. And number 3, redirect that $7 trillion of global finance away from harmful extraction and channel it toward healing the planet.
You know, we started this explainer talking about how we're slowly shifting away from exploiting individual animals for spectacles, moving toward education and conservation. We urgently need that exact same mindset shift for our entire global economy to protect magnificent creatures like orangutans. Because it is no exaggeration, what happens in these next 5 years dictates the future of our living planet.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on today. Do we actually have the collective will to transform these deeply ingrained economic systems? Can we change how we eat, how we power our homes, and where we invest our money? Ultimately, can we make peace with nature before the clock runs out and we cross that final tipping point? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this helped clear up this absolutely crucial topic for you today.